Hey guys, how you doing? I want to give you a little video, again knife making tip about the grinder. A lot of people ask how happy I am with the Grizzly 72x2 belt sander and buffing wheel combo, and I'm very happy. It's super powerful. It was a big step up for me from the 30x1 Harbor Freight, but also Harbor Freight is a great little tool for beginning. I cannot say enough. I had that thing for around a year or so. That little grinder made about 50 knives from small little kiridashis and 1-inch knives up to about 8-inch blades. So he did a lot of work before he died, and I couldn't be happy. You never gonna regret that purchase, the small one. I actually have to buy myself a new one because I like using that for certain applications on the knife making. It has one certain radius on top, 1.5 inch, which is very common and very useful. And for the money I'm gonna pay for the blade or for the machine, it's definitely worth to have it in the tool, in your workshop. Grizzly, around $550. I think almost $600 with the taxes and the shipping, the freight. That's always expensive. They actually sell it only on Amazon and at the Grizzly website. But for the money, you get a 1 horsepower motor, which is plenty strong. I cannot stop it. I push this grinder a lot. I push it very, very hard because guys, that I do my blades, hand ground, not water jet cut. So when I'm shaping the blade, for example, you see this about what I'm able to cut the blade with the bandsaw. Cut the corners off, cut a little bit basic here, a little bit. No, but everything else is pretty much grounded off on the contact wheel on the bottom. What I do, I put my bucket with the water here on the bottom, and I kind of pry it against it so I get good leverage. And keep grinding off, keep going back and forth over the belt. So I use, as much as the surface I can. And I really kick its ass. You can actually see, you can't really see, but from me grinding that way, especially the handle, that's always where you remove the most metal. And you don't have to worry about burning the metal because it doesn't really affect anything. Even if you burned, the contact here, the edge area, doesn't matter. When I'm grinding the edge, I'm more careful, so I'm doing the cooling pretty often so I don't burn the metal. But from that, I already have a little slight radius. It's not a big deal. Only thing what it causes is the tracking isn't as great as it's supposed to be. This wheel is supposed to last years. For me, doing knives the way I do, I really am kicking its ass, but it's holding up. It made a lot of knives since I got it, a lot of big knives, a lot of thick knives, so it's working out well. It's only downside is that it's single speed. It doesn't have the variable speed, and it's fast, so you will have to get used to it, to very frequent cooling, fast passes back and forth, once you have the blade after the heater, when you're doing the after the heater finishing. It's a little different than most of the knife making belt sanders. They are normally oriented a little differently. I like this because I was used to the way I grind my blades from the 1x30. It's pretty much the same setup. The belt is spinning downwards and you have the platen facing you. And only difference is that I had the contact wheel on the small one I was using on the top. Here is on the bottom. And it's big, it's not as small, the radius of the wheel, contact wheel isn't as small as on the 30x1. But the principle of me making knives, when I'm grinding that blade like this, it's the same. I see from top, I see exactly what I'm doing, the angles I'm using. And you can also move this. You can lower it down or lower it back. So you can set the angles of this whole, let's call it arm. No, you can move it back and forth, like tilt it back and forth. I have it pretty much vertically, or almost vertically. The arm itself is vertical, but because it's this doesn't go straight down, the top wheel is smaller than the bottom wheel. it comes on a little angle, but it's really just a matter of getting used to it, like whatever you find more comfortable for you. I find this perfect position for me. Buffing wheel, you know, I use sometimes, you see, I finish edges on it a little bit, polishing stuff up and stuff like that. I had people contact me before about it, people that had this grinder for years and years. Everybody is happy so far. A lot of people said that it's a great grinder for money that will last many years. One person warned me to be careful with the switch, because he said that for many years he's using it, everything was perfect except that he had to switch the switch for a couple of times. So that's about the only thing to be warned. I don't have my screw down, I never had problem with it. Everybody recommends to screw it down because it is very powerful, but so far I didn't have problems. Only one issue that I had, but it was from all the way from the beginning. It was kind of my mistake also. I didn't notice there is a screw here on the bottom. Not screw, there's a hole with threads that you're supposed to fit your table, your tool table or rest table there, and it's supposed to come up here and then little table here. I had, you see this paint, it's like that bake galvanized paint. It actually, they didn't probably secure, didn't seal off the thread, the hole with the threads when they were baking the paint off on it, and it actually baked inside in the threads. I didn't notice it when I tried to screw the screw in. Of course I stripped the threads inside. So watch out for that if you would get this one. Make sure that all the holes are nice and clean, and if not, you will probably have to clean it up with the top. But in my case, I'm lucky. I don't really use a table, even if it was there, even if I was able to, clean it up now. I actually could, because I could just get the bigger screw, longer screw, and fix it up. But I'm not using the table anyway. I grind everything freehand. I really wouldn't put it on and off, because often when I do the blades, I use everything. I use the contact wheel, I use this, I use flat, I put this is what I actually do for convex. There's a little trick. It's a felt, it's a wool felt that with the spray adhesive you spray the backside and you just glue it on the pattern, between the pattern and the belt. That would give you just the right amount of give for the convex, for the good nice and lean convex. And you see, that's what I do. I use the whole side. So if I had the pattern on, I would have to constantly put it on and off. So I don't use the table. I wouldn't, even if I fix it up and use it. This is actually adjustable. If I remember right, you can use belts up to 78 inches long, because this whole thing can slide up, and you can use longer belts the same width. This is how you, on the spring, this is how you pull this down and take the belt off. That's your tracking wheel, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The pattern, you can remove it completely, you can adjust it, you can move it up or forward, you can move it backward. I like it a little bit forward, so it always has the contact with the belt. That's why often you see me before I start my grinder. Let me take this off. That's why often when you see me videos where I'm actually grinding something, you often see me give it a little push before I start it, because my belt is on a little bit more tension than it normally supposed to be, because the pattern is up, front a little bit, so it's always on the tension, and it's a little too hard for the motor to start on its own. That's why I give it a little push. I'm not sure if it's something bad, but so far it's doing good, and I'm just happy. I just like it how it works, because there's absolutely no wobble, because the pattern is keeping the belt, right. If you would look as the belt is running, I'll show you. The back there is wobbling, but because of the front is always supported by the pattern, it's never wobbling, so it's always nice and where it's supposed to be. And I hope it helps you guys, because a lot of people are thinking about getting better grinders, thinking about what should they get if they want to start in the knife making. My advice for the people who want to start, definitely get the cheap one first, because that's something that you won't regret, because you will use it even after you upgrade it. to the bigger grinder, and it's such a little money that you won't regret the 1x30. So I definitely recommend that first. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Hope you found it helpful. Take care, stay safe, and remember, don't cut yourself.